Hey guys, what is going on? It's Jay Campbell, the author of the definitive TRT manual and of course the founder of TRTrevolution.com and the TRT Revolution podcast. And I'm joined today in studio by my good friend, second time interviewee, Russ Scala. And Russ is an amazing dude. This guy is a pioneer in the things that he and I are involved in. You know, he owns the Scala Precision Health Institute in Florida. He also has a very big, widely recognized YouTube channel, Precision Health. And Russ is, like I said, again, a pioneer. He started off as an EMT, and then, has gotten off and branched off and works with a bunch of cardiac people, both surgeons and doctors. So Russ, man, how are you, brother? Welcome to the show.
Hey, Jay, how you doing today?
I'm awesome, man. I appreciate you coming on today. We're going to definitely jump into some stuff. I know, you've been on before and you talked a little bit about your background, but just for people who don't know you, didn't see the first show, just talk a little bit about your bio.
Yeah, before I went to graduate school, when I was a kid in my 20s, thinking I was bulletproof, I worked in the emergency room, became a paramedic, ended up getting attached to the SWAT team, trying to save lives and not realizing the collateral damage it was doing to my metabolism. So from there, I went on to become a triathlete. I switched my community, to a healthy community, and I ended up damaging my body even more racing. So I kind of immersed myself in the high stress environments. Then I went to graduate school, got my master's, and focused on what we're doing, the biochemical individuality of each person. And I focused on the aging workforce and designing new treatment protocols. So my evolution has always been in medicine for the last 40 years. I'm still fascinated with the metabolism as you are, as I was when I was a kid. Mm-hmm. And being with those different groups and being on the tip of the spear, you just became an early adapter, sort of like what you've done with the TRT Revolution.
So the reality is, and obviously you and I know this, it's in the book. I have so many studies linked to this, but testosterone truly is a holy grail molecule. You just named all the different things that it does. At what point does medicine actually start to acknowledge this, and testosterone replacement therapy, or whatever you want to call it, age management, anti-aging, whatever the fuck people call it today, become, the center, the de novo, the genesis of, how do I classify it as preventative healthcare, meaning, the whole take personalized care of your health versus the current standard, as you know, in standard practice, which is to go in and be treated for symptoms of sickness and disease.
Yeah. Okay. You and I talked about this a lot. Here's what's going to happen. Back in the day when I was naive and I tried to save lives and asked doctors to help me develop this cardiac program, neurology program, I got door slammed in my face. Right. So now I help them. I show them how to make money. And now I'm called a visionary. Isn't that funny? So whatever, I don't bullshit, whatever it is. My goal is to, I'm finding distribution channels of cardiology, neurology centers that have 10,000 patients. That right there will shift the paradigm. Right. Every center, like you and I know, Jay, they're competitive with each other. Right. They want people to come through their doors. That's the competitive advantage. That model will shift it very quickly. Now we know, just like what you're doing on Facebook and YouTube, people are going, Eric Topol's book you and I talked about, yep. Instead of you and I going to doctors and getting door slammed in our face, bang, we're going right to people. Right. And we're educating them. And then they're tuning up their doctors. And their doctors sure. Oh, what are you doing? You're a Google medicine doctor. Well, right. People are walking through the door with real research and saying, fuck you, if you don't listen to me, I'm going to find another doctor.
It's so funny you said that. I've actually gotten emails in the last couple of months. They come in, I'm getting 100 emails a day from guys, as you know, and I can't answer everybody. I wish I could. I'm not running the Salvation Army here. There are many, many men around the world that are desperate. As you know, internationally, there are no doctors, almost none at least, that can even prescribe. It's a mess. Socialized medicine in Europe and Asia is a disaster when it comes to this. But, my thoughts are, and I wanted to ask you this question, and, obviously you can pontificate. It's still mind-blowing, so you're right. So thankfully there is more adoption, but, as you know, the guys that are adopting have no idea. And again, you can't really blame the individual doctors, right? Because they look at the endocrine society's, standard patient of care for TRT. And I swear to God, Russ, as you know, it's still 1 or 2 injections a month.
No, I understand. And that's completely wrong. Think about it. The guy that developed the ice pick lobotomy won the Nobel Prize.
Right.
Exactly. All right. And they did it to the troops coming back. A real easy procedure to puncture up under the eye where the bone is the thinnest, scramble the prefrontal cortex. That was a guy who won a fucking Nobel Prize for that. Right. So that's the world we live in. Right. So your content, my content is the new oil. We find distribution channels, and I think there'll be a tsunami sooner than later, because people, I mean, look what the low carb thing did in the 70s. The low carb, you know, the beer industry came out with light beer.
Right.
So I think that it's going to happen. You know, if you study business models, you know, medicine is no different than fucking Blockbuster Video. 5,000 locations, trading on the stock exchange, all in smart room, boom, and they're gone. They didn't see Netflix. Because somebody like you and me were back there raising our hand going, hey, listen, you guys should listen to Netflix and watch the bandwidth. They're like, oh, screw you, Jay, screw you, Russ. Now Blockbuster is a distant memory. So I think, I think that's going to happen sooner than later.
I want you to talk a little bit about the gut-brain connection and how it relates to the opiate bowel. Yeah, just feel free to elaborate.
Okay, cool. Again, one area that the addiction market is not looking at is something called the opiate bowel. And I've worked with clients that were taking opiates, and I just put a shield up for them. A lot of my executives got into a bad spot. I actually went into addiction centers and looked at their treatment protocols with some of my clients, and what they were getting for 40 grand a month to blow your hair back was just talk therapy and some, you know, some sushi. I mean, it's crazy. So the only thing with them, Jay, is they're so busy right now, they don't have to change anything. So the one place I have right now is going to be on the tip of the spear. So the opiate bowel, when you take any opiate, it causes an imbalance in your intestinal tract. When your intestinal tract is imbalanced, you're not pulling any nutrients out of food. So think about it. You swallow all your protein, it's not being absorbed. You go to bed at night, level 4 REM sleep. If you are sleeping and your growth hormone is released, you're going to mine nutrients from your own tissue. So these opiate addicts, these heroin addicts, these alcoholics, you know, continually have muscle wasting or sarcopenia. Well, and their testosterone levels are, I got to look at hundreds of blood work of these addicts.
50.
Yeah, 50, 30, testosterone's all under 100. Multiple metabolic markers are shut down. So the intestinal tract, the microbiome, in order to get an addict or anybody to resonate, we got to rebalance the gut.
Right.
Okay?
You know what? I want to talk to you about SSRIs because we talked about it a little last night, and I'll go down the darkest, deepest rabbit hole because I have family members that have been on these things, and they're fucked, Russ.
I know.
They do shit to their brains. It's not beneficial. I don't give a shit what study people show me. I go by my experience watching and observing people who have been on these things for a decade or more. We both know they're fucking poison, dude.
Right.
They're doing things, like you said, to, you know, the enzymatic pathways, the dendritic pathways. There's stuff going on in the brain that is being permanently altered from using this shit. And so even if you say to me, you feel better, oh, I have to have my Prozac or I have to have my Wellbutrin, you cannot prove to me that you are actually getting better. It's like you said, you're developing, everything that you feel is a chemical dependency of that shit. And as you also said, this is where people fuck up, and no doctor knows this except, you know, people that work with you. Your gut biome has now been crushed and permanently altered from that fucking poison, that toxin that goes through your body. And so you're not even in good health, even if you do feel good, correct?
No, you're right. And, you know, and here's why I look at it. For, you know, this really pisses me off, but here's what we keep doing, what we're doing. For Jay Campbell and Russ Scala's sanity, I just got to take you back when I was a paramedic on a really bad auto accident, dude. We got to walk by the people that are dying and go to the ones we can save, brother. Right. Or you know what? We could go crazy. Now, what you and I can do is that targeted marketing. Find the distribution channel or somebody like Brett Osborne, some other doctor that wants to pull the trigger with our skill set. And then all of a sudden, we, you know, or look at the guy that did Bigger, Stronger, Faster. Netflix and those companies need new content, man. I think you could do something better than Bigger, Stronger, Faster.
Oh, a million times better.
Yeah, okay. So my point is, there's a lot of opportunities out there for developing really cool content, and the distribution channel is the new media. Just something to think about. Folks, if you or a loved one gets diagnosed with some type of illness, go to TRT Revolution, come to the Russ Scala YouTube channel. When you hang that phone up and you got bad news, there are options for you that we can help you with.
Right.
That's it.
Awesome. So let me just stay there then. So for somebody in California, somebody in New York, somebody in Seattle, you know, because you're in Florida, you know, how would it work for somebody in California to be treated by the Russ Scala Precision Institute?
Well, Scala Precision Health, you could go to my website, Scala Precision Health. People fly in all the time to meet my doctors and to meet me. We send test kits out all over the United States.
Okay.
And you know, we work with, you know, high level folks that run major companies that just run into a wall. And we do a lot of the stuff that you do, Jay. We just take it to another level, you know?
You guys, is it, and we've talked about this before, so forgive me for asking, but do you guys do, because people always ask me this, you know this, is this all pretty much out of pocket, or do you have insurance subrogation opportunities?
Yeah, that's the only downside. We could run some of the testing through insurance, but it's only out of pocket and it's expensive. And this is one reason I started the Russ Scala YouTube channel, so regular folks can go on my YouTube channel and then go tune their doctor up.
Right.